connected here.
Yes, please.
So this is just the famous definition that was coined by Abraham Lincoln. Democracy, government is of the people, for the people, and by the people. So there are some challenges with democracy. Let's look at them. So the first one is corruption. Corruption, as we know, is prevalent in India. Like day before yesterday,
अलाउड टू कंटेस्ट। ये नहीं कि 6 साल डिसीजन में लगने हैं, 6 साल बंदा वो मर्डर करने के बाद में बैठा लड़ी जा रहा है, जेल से लड़ रहा है। जेल नॉर्मली इज गिवन फ्रॉम द कोर्ट, जुडिशियल रिमांड, पहले पुलिस रिमांड, देन जुडिशियल रिमांड, देन एक्सटेंडेड। So that is all follow up after the charge sheet has been filed. Once charge sheet has been filed, okayed by the court, that guy should not be allowed to contest. वो हो जाएगा तो काफी ये सफाई हो जाएगी। That one reform can clean this. Very required. फिर इलेक्शन कमीशन का आपने नहीं लेके आए, हमने बात की ना लिमिट्स, वो सब लेके आना थी। Limit for what I remember broadly is for a MLA he can spend up to 29 lakhs, 27 to 29 lakhs in his election, which is a limit allowed by the law. MP can spend approximately 50 or 60 lakhs something as per limit, but in actual the MLA spend 4 crores, 5 crores. So election commission is, अगर आप election commission का पढ़ो, main purpose is to ensure level playing field among all candidates, which does not take place.
So that would be under reforms, right? Not criminalization.
नहीं, मैं criminalization से आगे चला गया अब मैं आ रहा हूँ इलेक्शन रिफॉर्म, बिकॉज वो भी डेमोक्रेसी से लिंक है। यहाँ इलेक्शन कमीशन शुड बी डूइंग इट्स ड्यूटी प्रॉपरली। सो लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड। अब आज जैसे आम आदमी पार्टी की गवर्नमेंट है, तो अभी एमएलए एमपी के इलेक्शन आए नहीं, पर हर जगह होर्डिंग्स लगी हुई हैं, ओवर होर्डिंग्स लगी हुई हैं, बट द अदर पार्टी वो लगाएगा, उसको एमसी वाले चलान दे देगा उतार के। दैट इज वन स्मॉल पार्ट ऑफ इट। द बिगर पार्ट इज स्पेंडिंग ह्यूज अमाउंट्स, नॉट अकाउंटिंग इट इन द एक्सपेंसेस incurred. The nomination can be rejected if you spend beyond that. So a person who does not have 5 crores, he cannot even think of contesting as a MP or ML. 5 crore to spend. He should be having 30 crores before he thinks he can enter in the politics. Muscle power, money power, gun power, and then famous power, which we discussed. Some of the parliamentarians, कहीं आपको भी फिगर देखना कि जैसे नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू भी discussed, his attendance in the parliament would be just 10%. Amendments moved almost nil. Questions asked in the debates almost nil. So what are you acting as a parliamentarian? Similarly, Sunny Deol, same figures only. Attendance in the parliament less than 5%. वो भी रिफॉर्म होना चाहिए. Minimum 60%.
That would be different topic.
The topic is, but it is related to democracy, na? Your democracy is not working because the MPs are not contributing. Lawmakers are lawbreakers. That is one part of it. But the other part is MPs are not accountable at all. 60%, 70% कुछ अटेंडेंस रखो 4 सेशंस की, कोई सिकनेस है, unavoidable problem है, it's different. But you must attend the parliament. Number of suggestions given, कुछ तो पैरामीटर होना चाहिए एक MP के लिए, पब्लिक के पास ही होना चाहिए, कुछ नहीं है. So all these things are needed to, solutions भी देने पड़ेंगे नीचे. Some solutions can be to reduce criminalization, charge sheet filing के बाद contest ना करने. Second would be, election commission should ensure strong enforcement of the maximum limit of spending. Direct, indirect, both should be taken into account. एक आम आदमी इंडिपेंडेंट खड़ा है, इंडिपेंडेंट का तो नाम ही नहीं आजकल, बहुत रेयर कोई इंडिपेंडेंट जीतता है. क्यों? इसीलिए पार्टी स्पेंड करती है, नेशनल एड्स, टीवी पे एड्स आ रही हैं, आम आदमी पार्टी के एक्सेट्रा, तो वो सारा एक्सपेंस जा रहा है. फिर बंदा खड़ा होगा, वो खड़ेगा, तो कहाँ 27 में बस उसके अकाउंट से देख लेंगे खर्चा एक्चुअल कितना हुआ, जो होर्डिंग लगे. कभी आपने विजिलेंस यूज ही नहीं करता है इलेक्शन कमीशन, नॉट विजिलेंट एट ऑल. India, top 5% or good figure.
60% asset.
Top 5% have how much? 50%? 60. 60. Okay, thank you. Next.
not that much able to do because they were mostly guided by the government and how much vehicle they can produce or how much they can not.
Next, Karan. Next. Next. Here, next. Here is what it is.
So as of now, we can see that our government is pushing the hydrogen mission, but we are not in the hydrogen space. Our Mahindra and Indian Oil Corporation jointly joined the venture in 2000. They produced the first vehicle which was powered by the hydrogen. As of now, our government is doing the hydrogen mission, which is our mission is to basically net zero by 2047, 2070.
फिर से दोबारा वो बोला वो तो ऑन है कंप्यूटर ऊपर हाँ ऑन ही लग रहे हैं ऑन ही है थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा
So we were talking about the green hydrogen mission, which is basically targeted to 2070 because our government wants to net zero pollution till date, and our government is planning to produce hydrogen around 5 million metric tons till date. So other thing is ethanol, which is basically produced by the food grains and sugar cane. Although our government is as of now 20% adding the ethanol into our fuel, the safest limit is 10%. Because ethanol can degrade your engine, or in high class vehicles, we have a warning that we have to use 98 or 99 octane fuel in it. But our government, I don't know how they get to 20%. So why is ethanol added to? So why is ethanol added to? I already answered this question. Why no automobile Indian company is basically went global like Honda and Toyota? I found basically mainly two reasons: lack of ambition, innovation, and R&D. Basically, we can already see that their lack of ambition is quite a big problem. Already, Mahindra owns the Pininfarina department, and Pininfarina is majorly the department which used to design the cars for Ferrari and other, basically Rimac and other sports cars. But they are not quite utilizing their department. I don't know why. They have quite a major share in Pininfarina department, and already they are not going with that thing. And at the same time, Tata, they had the trotting department, which was basically designed to research on EVs and other battery new technologies. They started with quite a boom that they have a electronic department. After that, they dumped that department. So One issue is credibility issues. I came across a report about the Scorpio N, which got the 5-star rating at the global NCAP, but at the same time they get the 0-star rating and Australian NCAP. This was quite an issue with the credibility issues of our Indian produced vehicles. So, despite the prediction of 8x growth in EV market, why India is not going to have this feasible? It is not feasible because I came across the data on the different websites that most of the EV stations which are deployed are not working. So the figure is between 10 to 40% because every single website displayed the different type of data. Some say 20%, some say 30%. I believe it should be around 40 to 45% because the major issue is that vandalization and they are not getting maintained. And one of the basic major issue was their network issue. So although network issue shouldn't be there because of the 5G technology, but whenever the people used to plug their vehicles in the on the outlets of the public outlets, so they are not getting connected to the main server so that they can get their bills. So this is a major problem with the public charging stations.
Not, you can yourself see. Give me your order for good. First time present is the good. From first time perspective, it is good. But lot of data could have come out, graphs, figures, comparisons. क्या सी ना ऑटोमोबाइल वर्ल्ड वाइड. अच्छा कौन कह रहा था टॉपिक लेना है? मेरे को मैसेज भी आया था एक बच्चे का कि मुझे टॉपिक नहीं मिला है. I told I will give it in the class. Okay, so data should come out worldwide share of Toyota, Suzuki, General Motor, Ford, Isuzu, etc. etc. कोई नहीं होगा कोई बच्चे को डालना. किसी और का कोई टॉपिक? किसी का रेडी है? आप मल्लेर कोटला जी आपने लिया हुआ है टॉपिक?
नहीं सर.
क्यों नहीं लिया फिर?
ये ऑटोमोबाइल वाले.
हाँ?
ये ऑटोमोबाइल वाले ले लेता हूँ.
अच्छे से बना के लाओ. इंडिया का भी ब्रेकअप वर्ल्ड वाइड क्या शेयर है? आपको नहीं मिला हुआ टॉपिक? कोई नहीं, आई विल गिव इट.